Right, okay. Got that right. On March 5th, this Wednesday is going to be Ash Wednesday. There's going to be a fellowship meal at 6 o'clock. It's going to be potluck. Bring your favorite dish. And that will start at 6 o'clock. Afterwards at 7, there will be the Ash Wednesday service in the sanctuary. On March 6th, there'll be a stew and barbecue planning meeting, unless that's changed. Okay. March 6th is going to be at 6:30, a stew and barbecue planning meeting. Then March 9th, next Sunday, you may know what next Sunday is? Spring Ahead. Already, Spring Ahead. Also, it's going to be daylight saving. Well, also, it is going to be daylight saving time, but also it's going to be a youth breakfast, right? So don't forget to turn your clocks forward and come and worship with us, and we'll have a delicious breakfast fundraiser for the youth as well. The women's conference was changed due to inclement weather. And the new date is March 15th. It's going to be a single day event beginning at 8 o'clock. So we hope you guys can attend that on March 15th at 8 o'clock. There'll be lots of activities as well on that single day event.
Sandra, we are asking people to re-register so that we have an accurate count for our meals.
Okay, please re-register for the March 15th event so that they have an accurate count for people and for meals. Because understandably, you may or may not be able to come to this event. So please re-register for that event. Also today, at the end of the service, there will be a love offering for a mission trip that Rachel Duncan is going to be taking soon. Is there anything else that needs to be said about that?
Good morning. I asked Rachel for a little information on her trip, and she said 18 of them are going to Uppsala, Sweden for 10 days over spring break to spread the gospel. While we are there, we will be using perspective cards to talk to the local college kids about their faith. We will introduce them to what we as Christians believe, and if they are interested in learning more, we will connect them with a permanent missionary. Our mission statement for this trip is, we are being sent as servants to share the hope of the gospel and connect people to the local church. The basket's in the back if anybody wants to donate. It's 18 kids going to spread God's love and the gospel. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Are there any other announcements that need to be made?
Same, I think the trustee is supposed to be 6 p.m.
6 p.m. Okay.
Am I Brandon?
What?
We're going to meet at 6 on 13th.
On 13th.
Okay, on the 13th, the trustees will meet at 6 p.m., not 7 p.m. Thank you. Yes, Steve.
After service, you may have gotten an email, some of you may have seen a Facebook post about an opportunity came up for a really good deal on a new church van. If you're interested in taking a look at what it looks like and climb in it and climb out of it and all that stuff, we've got it parked over here right now. We can move it after service this way so people can check it out. Just feel free, it's unlocked, climb in and out of it. The keys are my bike, so you ain't gonna drive off with it, but it's out here for you to check out. It's just something that's a really good deal that fell into our lap, and the dealership was willing to let us bring it here so that they can check it out today. So.
Anyone else? All right, thank you.
Good morning. Good morning. I am going to make a little announcement. I know we talked about it a lot in the Walk to Emmaus, a bunch of us here, or several of us here, been on it. And I've heard some people say they don't quite understand, it sounds like a cult or something like that. I don't want people to have the wrong idea. I'm trying to build this thing up because honestly, to me, it was 72 hours of being immersed in God and love. McGraw for a weekend. If you're a pilgrim, it's all about you, you're catered to. You hear several different talks about the works of God, and about 15 different talks, but you're gone for 72 hours, and you're well taken care of. And what the reason some people think sounds like, oh, because there's certain things that happen on that weekend. If you really need to know before you go, I'll tell you, but I'll tell you, I was glad people didn't tell me before I went, because certain parts of it was just great to experience instead of knowing what was going to happen. And we didn't have enough men for the spring walk, so I'm trying to put the word back out there now. The women's walk is coming up next to the last weekend of this month. It's full, so glad of that. They don't have the dates yet, but there will be another men's and women's walk this fall. If you're interested at all, anybody here that's been on the walk, would you raise your hand? Talk to one of these people and let them tell you, or let them know. And there's some people that are sponsors, and we'll be glad to sponsor you and get you where you need to go. But it's just 72 hours, in my opinion, of mercy, God, and love. But we've got 9 men signed up for the fall walk and 2 women. So I just want to talk about that. As I said, welcome, glad to see you here, and now we'll have the opening hymn. Thank you. Well, we will say the Apostles' Creed in just a minute, but I forgot one more announcement I want to say. If you're in my Sunday school class, the heat is still broken in the old fellowship hall. I think the parts have been ordered, if I'm correct, Jay. But we will meet in the sanctuary across the way again this week. Now, if you will repeat the Apostles' Creed with me. I believe in God, the Father Almighty, creator of heaven and earth. I believe in Jesus Christ, his only Son, our Lord, who was conceived by the Holy Spirit, born of the Virgin Mary, suffered under Pontius Pilate, was crucified, died, and was buried. He descended to the dead. On the third day he rose again. He ascended into heaven, and is seated at the right hand of the Father, and will come again to judge the living and the dead. I believe in the Holy Spirit, the Holy Catholic Church, the communion of saints, the forgiveness of sins, the resurrection of the body, and the life everlasting. Amen. And now for our song of praise, if we are the light.
Jesus
But we are fighting. Why are his arms reaching? Why are his hands healing? Why are his words teaching? That we are fighting. Why are his feet going? Why is his love not showing? Then there is a way. Jesus is a way. I think y'all be seated. Now it's time for joys and concerns. I'm going to start off with joy, if that's all right. And just, as most of you know, the first Sunday of every month we have Methodist Men's Breakfast. And it's always a blessing to be there and worship with my brothers here in the church. If you're a man and you would like to come, we'd love for you to be here. We have a real good breakfast. We actually cooked way too much food this morning, but it was quite tasty. And I do need to say that Michelle Viskies, she sent a casserole this morning, so she has been voted from now on to cook for us. So we'll be ready for you, Michelle. So guys, we ain't got to cook next month. Michelle, I don't know if she's agreed to that yet, but we did decide. But thanks to Anthony for bringing it to. I couldn't even make him take credit for cooking it. But anyway, we would love to have you on the first Sunday morning of the month. We eat at 7:30 and then we have a little lesson. Some of us get here around 6 or 6:30 and we fellowship and we cook and probably tell stories and whatever else. You'll have to come and find out what that's about. So thank you. Do we have any other joys? Yes, ma'am.
Yes, after a month and a half, my husband made it home last night. Unfortunately, his father is not with him, but we'll just continue prayers for his dad.
What's his dad's name?
Rick Davis.
Anyone else? I'm sorry, who did? Okay. Well, happy birthday, you 51. Just kidding. All right, anybody else? Steve?
Joy last Sunday, we had 19 youth show up at the house for fellowship, food, and some games. You know, the dog took care of 2 kickballs here in the middle of our game, so we had a great time though.
Did the walking in faith part go as you planned?
Yeah,
What me and you talked about?
we had walking in faith last Sunday.
I won't say what you said there. William, you had something?
Oh, yeah. Yesterday, Christy and I celebrated 22 years.
Congratulations. Christy, you are a saint. So congratulations to you both. Nancy, oh, I'm sorry. Nancy, I said her name.
It was a joy to celebrate Ruth's birthday last night.
Yes, Ms. Ruth, I'm sorry I couldn't make it.
It was a joy.
Yeah, I said, Julie came, I couldn't make it also. We had another guy retire from the sheriff's department and his birthday and retirement was this week. He had a party last night, so that's wow. But happy birthday, Ms. Ruth. And you're 51.
81, now I'm 80.
Oh.
81 now.
Lisa.
My sister Martin on the prayer list. She was intubated in April. They excavated her, they took the tube out, and now she's in rehab. And she cannot wait to come home. She don't know what happened, but she's doing so much.
All right, so if you couldn't hear, Susie Martin was put on the prayer list, but she's in rehab now and doing much better. Her intubation tubes were removed and ready to come home. So that's a blessing. Anybody? Larry?
We celebrated our daughter Karen's 51st birthday this week. Her brother Chad cooked a nice meal for us, and it was great to have the family sitting all around one table.
That's awesome when you can do that. Tell Karen happy 51st from all of us. You didn't make me have to ask 51. Which actually I knew how old she was. But anyway.
Yes, continued prayers for our friends up in the mountains. And traveling mercies for Miss Claudia and the boys today as they get back home. And look forward to hearing her here shortly.
Tammy,
When Gray's brother in Tennessee passed away, I don't have any details, but as soon as we know something, just keep Gwen and her family in your prayers.
Gwen Gray's brother passed away. Okay. Jackie?
Mr. Grant. Mr. Grant.
Yeah. I was gonna go try to visit her this week, but I think she ended up with a stomach bug, so it wasn't advised. So do you have any further updates? Do you know if she's made it to rehab yet or not?
She's supposed to go tomorrow.
Okay.
She had a fever on Friday.
Okay, yeah, if y'all don't know, Mr. Grant fell last week and, broke her hip, is that right? It came out of socket. Okay. And, she's Duke Regional and was supposed to go to rehab, but she come down with a stomach bug. So they kept her there till she's better before she goes to rehab.
And I think Mama did talk to her yesterday afternoon, and she is feeling better, so the hopes is that she'll go tomorrow.
Thank you.
Bobby Dickinson passed away during the night last night. I don't know, how many people know him that are here, but, it's Pat, her son's father-in-law, Bobby Dickinson.
Okay.
Father.
All right, Nicole?
I know you talked about my adopted son, Nathan, before, his baby did get to come home, who was in the NICU, but his father has actually been diagnosed with, brain cancer, and he will have surgery tomorrow from, he has to be there at 6:30, they'll start surgery at 8:30, and it will be anywhere from 5 to 8 hours. So if you could keep him in your prayers, his name is Ward McLean.
Say the last thing.
McLean is McLean.
Ms. Jack?
No, my neighbor Emily Brand is in the hospital. She had pneumonia and, in fact, she's over here at Roxborough.
Okay. Lord? Go ahead.
I have transfusion Tuesday, and then I'm scheduled for surgery on Monday for the following week.
Yes, ma'am.
Terry Bolton passed away.
Terry Bolton passed away.
And there's, she's got a baby,
My cousin Susan Casey passed away last week, following hitting the head, massive brain bleed, and wouldn't turn out.
Did you say Susan or Suzanne?
Susan,
Susan.
she was Roy and Sarah Cates' daughter. If anybody remembers Roy Cates' sister.
All right, thank you. Kevin?
My daughter and her family woke up in time to make it to church this morning. I just asked them, if you don't know them, please, make them feel welcome today.
Like, if you don't want to sit next to him, there's other places. So, welcome, y'all. And if we have any more visitors, welcome. Glad you could come with us. All right, anybody else? All right, we'll go to the morning prayer. Dear Heavenly Father, I give thanks to you for having your house to come to today and worship with you. I want to ask for prayers for the families of the ones that we have mentioned this morning that have gone to be with you, Lord. And we have several people here that have had different injuries or sicknesses and illnesses. And will you please lay your healing hands around them and keep them safe in your arms as they go through what they're going through, Lord. Please grant travel mercies to Ms. Honeycutt when her and her sons go back today. Also, as we have been doing, please continue to pray for Western North Carolina. Lift them up and help them get what they need, Lord. I ask these things in Jesus' name. Amen. And now we'll take up our tithes and offerings.
I've been held in your hands from the moment that I wake up until I lay my head. I will sing of the goodness of God. And all my life you have been faithful. And all my life you have been so, so good. With every breath that I am able, oh, I will sing of the goodness of God. I love yours. You have led me through the fire in darkest night. You are close like no other. I've known you as a father. I've known you as a friend. And I have lived in the goodness of God. And all my life you have been faithful. Oh yes you have. And all my life you have been so, so good. With every breath that I am able, oh I will sing of the goodness of God. Your goodness is running after me. Your goodness is running after me. When my life laid down, I surrender now. I give you everything. Oh, your goodness is running after me. And all my life you have been faithful. Oh yes you have. And all my life you have been so, so good. With every breath that I am able, oh I will sing of the goodness of God. I will sing of the goodness of God.
Praise God from whom all blessings flow. Praise Him, all creatures here below. Praise Him above, ye heavenly hosts. Praise Father, Son, and Holy Ghost. Lord, we honor you with these tithes and offerings, and give these gifts to you because you are worthy of them, because you are our creator and our salvation. That it please you with you to further your kingdom. In Jesus' name, amen. All right, as you can see, we got a special speaker here today. I've had a chance to meet her a couple of times going up to Burnsville. She has a nice little store there where has some of the best fig preserves I've ever eaten. I got to come back and get some more. I'm out. But anyway, she's got some other stuff there too. But I'll tell them how much I've been eating if I keep talking. But anyway, I'm going to ask David Sheen to come up and introduce her.
Good morning. I apologize, I found some scripture this morning, so I apologize for not getting it to Mark and Jackie and Terry this morning to get it, but here we go. From 3 John chapter 1, verse 5 and 6. Dear friend, you are faithful in what you are doing for the brothers and sisters, even though they are strangers to you. And then from Romans chapter 12, verse 13. When God's people are in need, be ready to help them. Always be eager to practice hospitality. I got one more. From Philippians chapter 2, verse 4. Don't look out only for your own interests, but take an interest in others also. The Word of God for the people of God.
Thanks be to God.
We're privileged this morning to have Miss Claudia Honeycutt and her 2 grandsons. We went out to eat supper last night. We had a good time. She came flying in on 2 wheels. Her phone messed up Friday night, and she was trying to get all her pictures and stuff uploaded. And bless Kim's heart, she worked on it last night and this morning, so we think we've got it. Claudia is our contact in Western North Carolina for our mission work that we do. She's a blessing to that area. She's a businesswoman, owns a couple of businesses up there. Those of you that have gone with us, you've met her, and you've been able to go through Burnsville and shop and eat, and we've always had a good time. And the trip before last, I think, we were talking, and she wanted to come and thank Mount Zion and the people around the area for what we have done so far, and also kind of give a first-hand account of what's going on so that everyone can better understand why we're doing what we're doing to help these folks. And we keep getting updates from her. We've got a board over here with the list on it. We are planning March the 15th to make a return trip. So we'll see you on the 15th this fall. So anyway, after service, Claudia will be around a little bit if you'd like to talk to her and meet her. We thoroughly enjoyed working with her, and we count her as a true friend. So at this time, I'll ask Miss Claudia to come up.
All right, good morning. Good morning. I'm Claudia Honeycutt. I am from Spruce Pine, North Carolina, which is 12 miles from Burnsville, which is where I work. And I get asked to go speak in a lot of places, but I asked to come here because I just wanted to say thank you to you guys. You have been the hands and feet of Jesus more than you will ever know. I didn't know Jay or Kim when this thing started. I didn't know a lot of people that have come into our life since this hurricane. I think that today, not that I'm counting or anything, but I think it's day 156. And it's been a long 156 days, a very long 156 days. And it's not been real pleasant at all. But it's also not been all bad, because there's been just so much love poured into us, and so much Jesus that has just come from all over the country, but especially from this church. I mean, my home is powered because of the generator that came out of this church. I know of several other homes and several other campers and several other folks that have power and water because of this church. I don't know if the gutter man goes to church here, whoever that gutter company is that's in all those sweatshirts that they're from here. I could have sold the fire out of them gutters because I wore those sweatshirts almost every day because my clothes were totaled out. And I just go in the warehouse and get stuff out of the trailer that y'all brought. My mama has written notes to all of us on Roxborough Bank notepads, whoever sent those. And our sewer system backed up in our shop when they cut the water back on. And so after we had the flood and we got all that sucked out, then the sewer came back and did all that. And so my mama, who's 79 years old, she came and she just did all the things that it takes to do to get the sewer cleaned up in the shop. And she wrote us notes at every sink and every bathroom: do not use, love mom, do not use, love mom, do not use, love mom. And they were on Roxborough Bank papers, and it was just real neat to me as I drove by there and I saw that bank. I thought, I know about that place.
There's water bottles down here, that, boys, you know those orange water bottles that you take to school, that the lid screws off the top and they're orange? Okay, that come from here. That came from this town. We wear your clothes, and we've used your dishes that came from the Habitat, and we use your blankets on our beds, and we use the mattresses, and we use the cribs that you have sent, and we use the tools that you have sent, the trailers that you have sent up there and unloaded. That stuff would go out as fast as it would come off the trailer. People would be there ready to take it. We are kind of starting the rebuild process now, but something that we're just really struggling with is so much of our land that was not in a floodplain now is in a floodplain. So we can't rebuild on that land, but we still own it, so we still have to pay taxes on it, and we still have to pay mortgages on the houses that floated down the river because they don't wash those mortgages away. We didn't have flood insurance because we don't live in the floodplain. I mean, I don't know if y'all have flood insurance down here, but if it ever rains more about half an inch, you should get some. Because I can tell you, we had 31 inches of rain. We didn't have any flood insurance, and I don't think they make landslide insurance. We didn't have that either. So that means nothing's covered. And that's really tough. That's really tough. I mean, it's financially tough, but it's emotionally tough because you are trying so hard to dig, literally dig out. On this one first says, I got regular shoes on. Is the muck boot person here today? The muck boots that came out of this church? Okay, the muck boots that came out of this church, we wear them every single day. And I'll show you pictures here in a minute of kind of how we get back and forth to the house. But we dig. The mud is still 3 and 4 and 10 feet deep in many, many places. And because there's nowhere for it to go. Our houses that we have had to bulldoze or that the landslides took, they're still laying there because we lost our landfills. There's nowhere to haul the debris. Right now, West North Carolina's on fire again because of down power lines, and our infrastructure is so fragile that when it rains just this much, we run out of power again immediately. Lines start falling, trees start falling. The water system, we lost our whole water treatment plant, we lost our whole water plant, period. It is so fragile. My daughter still, 156 days later, is taking a shower in her camper and washing her hair with a bottle of water. Still, because it's so fragile there that you can't get it repaired. Roads, you can't get roads, the bridges are gone, the private bridges are gone, so you can't get to your house to fix things. So it's something that you just look and you say, how's that even going on? And I mean, every day, every single day of my life, I think, holy cow, wow, we're really still living like this. I mean, it still looks like an apocalypse in many places. And I'm going to show you some pictures. I can look back there. If you want to turn it on, I'll just talk to a few. And these pictures, y'all, I just took them off my phone. I did not bring any raging water flood pictures because it literally just panics me. Like I've seen that. I can't show that again. What you doing, sugar? You gonna stand with me? It's Casper. So I didn't bring those raging water pictures. But I promise you this, anything that you've seen on the news, anything you've seen on social media, anything you've seen, it's worse. Man, it's worse. It's worse than anything you can imagine. Can you play with this? Is it sacred? Go sit down. You just can't even imagine. So that picture right there, that's my hometown, that's Spruce Pine. And I'm standing physically, when I took that picture at my little bookstore, I had a Christian bookstore in Spruce Pine. But that's our town. So if you look right here, right there, you see that little yellow thing? Okay, and that white, that's the awnings of the businesses. So the whole town washed away. Well, it wasn't just Spruce Pine, y'all. It was Back Cave, it was Chimney Rock, it's just so many of the towns. Like, it's all of West North Carolina. It's not just us. I mean, it's everybody. There were, I think, 1,100 homes that were considered a total loss. Over 600 of those were in Mitchell and Yancey County. And let me explain what a total loss really means. It means gone. That's what a total loss means. If your house is still standing, even if it's got 34 feet of water inside of it, that's not considered a total loss. That's considered a temporary loss, because that means you can't live in it right now. And then the building inspector decides if you can live in it or not, so it's not counted a loss yet. 622 homes lost in our two counties, that's a pretty high percentage. And if you, we're small, I mean, we're little, our whole town of Burnsville has 1,700 people in the whole town. Like, we know when people go on vacation, we're a small town. Spruce Pine has 3,500 people. Man, it's been a total wipeout. If you just to put it in perspective, if you just look around this church and look at the people you're sitting beside, kind of statistically, about 75% of the people in this room would either have no home, would either have a totally damaged home, or would be missing. I mean, we still have a lot of people missing that they have not located yet. So you've heard, are those numbers real? About, I think they've now counted 105 deaths in North Carolina. They don't count the missing. And if you floated to Tennessee, which is where we live, you can't weigh in that. If you count where we live, we're right beside Tennessee. If you floated into Tennessee, you don't count in the North Carolina numbers. Like, and I don't know what the deal is about skewing death numbers. Like, I don't know why that's a big thing, but it is. There's so much trauma there that's not being reported as far as lives go. But this is our little town here. This is our train depot back here. This is our little community stage. So this hole here is a little park. That truck there, that belongs to the guy that owns the coffee shop. He was in that first building. But y'all, the river is all the way on the other side of all those buildings. Like, it's not even close. That's like 70 feet from the riverbank that the river just came into the town. You can just click right on through there. I was standing there, and the water had already receded at that time. I had already cut out of my house, and you know, we carry chainsaws up there like pocketbooks. I mean, you just still carry them everywhere you go. That's the main street in town right there. That's the barber shop, the red awning, that's her barber shop. But the building before that, you know, on the street, the water went, it just took them all. That's a bridge, that's my aunt's bridge. So that green, that's a metal bridge. It's turned sideways because a house was coming down that river and it took that bridge. But the bridge is so heavy, it's solid steel. And so it took that bridge and turned it sideways, and there was enough debris on it, and it's heavy enough that it just kind of finally sunk after the water started receding. No help for that bridge. It cost her $90,000 cash to have that bridge turned back around. That's their only access in and out of her house. They had to rescue her by helicopter. So many people had to be carried out by helicopter because we don't live in the town. I mean, we live on the backside of the mountains. So there is one way in and one way out. So when you lose your bridge, you lose total access. So that, okay, you see this right here? That's where that bridge connected. And it came all the way across. And that house came floating down the river, and it just spun it all the way around. But the landslides, holy cow, the landslides. It's just unbelievable. And people were in their homes. Like, we didn't get evacuation notices. We're supposed to get 5 inches of rain. And we got 31. But here's the problem, we were already flooded out. It started raining on Wednesday. The storm didn't come till Friday. So we were already flooded before this thing even hit. Now, we did have power until Friday morning. But then we didn't have power again I didn't have my house for 30-something days, 31 days, I think. Okay, that's my 2 girls. That's my oldest girl, my youngest girl. The one in the middle there, that's Kylie. She lives right on the water. She's the one that the muck boots came to out of this church, and I'm going to show you her bridge, but it took us about 3 days before we knew if she was dead or alive, because we knew where she lived, but there's no communication with anybody. Now, if you just imagine the people that you love, the people that you gave birth to, the people that gave birth to you, the people that you're married to, if y'all just happen to be in 2 different places, when this storm hit, 0 communication. My daughter, I have a middle daughter that was in Alaska at this time. She was watching it all on the news. She was trying to get home, couldn't get home. Mitchell County was totally cut off from, you couldn't get in or out except by helicopter. And that was horrible. And so somebody that we went to high school with created this list. Now, we didn't know about this list because we didn't have any communication, but somebody created this list, and they put everybody's name on it from our county. And people could click on there and say, confirmed, you know, we know they're okay, we know they're not okay, whatever. And my daughter has talked many times about just how gut-wrenching it was that her whole family's on there, and she didn't have a clue. She didn't have a clue if anybody was dead or alive. All she was doing was watching it. And You know, that's hard stuff to watch. That's hard not to know things. For a month after the communication came back, the entire social media feed of the world in West North Carolina was, has anybody seen this person? Has anybody found that person? We know the wife's been found, but what about the husband? We know the kids have not been found, but the parents. That's hard stuff, because that's our family. That's our neighbors. That's the people we go to church with, the people we work with, the people we went to school with our whole life. And all of a sudden, they're just missing. And you know what? There's still a lot of people missing that there's been no account for at all. That's hard, because you walk the riverbanks now and you think, are those people in that? You know, my pastor at my former church drives a bulldozer and a dump truck, and he was one that was out on the river. And I mean, the cadaver dogs, like, we had it all, man. We had all the search and rescue, we had all the cadaver dogs, we had all the stuff. It was horrific. It was horrific to watch what was going on. And they would mark a place if they found a body or they found a smell that the dog had picked up. They would mark it with a pink or an orange ribbon, and everybody would know not to dig right there, but to dig with your hands. And when my preacher found his 5th buried person, it was a little girl, it was a little 5-year-old girl. And he just got off his loader and he just threw the keys to some guys that were there, and he said, I cannot do this anymore. Because that was his next door neighbor's kids that he was finding. And like, you read about that stuff, but you can't imagine that being at your own place. You know, like, that'd be this one. And you're just like, how did it really happen? This is my mama and my little grandboy. He was 6 weeks old whenever this storm hit. And my daughter lives about a quarter of a mile from me. She's the one that owns Appalachian Java, if anybody's been to Bushwick. She's the coffee shop girl. And this is her little baby, Weston. He's 6 weeks old. Less than a quarter of a mile, there were over 200 trees down. The trees are what got us. The water was horrible, but it did recede. But the trees, just a whole nother thing. Millions and millions of trees down that are still, it still looks like a war zone. It still looks like a war zone every minute. And the problem is the trees that are still standing are standing this way, and when the wind blows just a little bit, they snap in a heartbeat because the root systems are so much mess. But my daughter and myself, in the middle of the storm, after it got to you could get outside, I just jumped in my car. I drove through the neighbor's yard and up the road and had to park it and climb over. I can't tell you how many trees. I'm talking about going up the main road. Going up the main road to my mom and dad's house, climbing over top of trees. And I saw her walking down her driveway with that baby zipped up in her coat all, because he was his little head and a boggin poking out of it. And I thought, okay, thank God they made it. And that's how you start counting your family. And that's a lot. That's a lot. And then we walked up the hill and we found my mom and my little daddy. And they were okay. And then the neighbors started coming up the hill. And y'all, okay, that's my daddy. That's inside Katie's house. Anybody that came up there from the church and bought one of those heart sweatshirts, that's the house that those sweatshirts are trying to rebuild. Inside that cabinet right there, okay, there was 30 feet of water inside that house. That's on the 2nd floor of that house. Her bedroom and stuff's on up above that. But that cabinet, we were trying to get it turned over because she knew that she had a money bag in there. She's a storekeeper up there, and she knew she had a money bag in there, and she thought it had a little bit of money in it. Well, here's the thing, nobody had any money. So if you just imagine every single dime of money that you have in the bank right now, all of a sudden you don't have any access to it at all. And if you had any money at your house under the bed, it probably floated down the river. And if you had any money in your car, in the glove box, it probably is smashed now and you can't get to it. And you just didn't have any money. And I'm talking about, like, I don't know about y'all, you may be extra prepared down here, but we weren't. And it wasn't that we were slackers, it was that we just thought it was going to rain. I mean, I can show you the weather forecast. Rain. 5 inches. And Katie had some money. And she said, if you can get in that cabinet, there's some money there. This is about a week later. So we went in there and we flipped open that, we were able to dig the mud up around it and get it flipped up. We found this money bag, and I think there might be a picture of that money bag on this slide. There it is, there's a money bag. All right, inside that money bag was a stack of $100 bills. Thank God. We got them out, and we The mud, I can't describe to you the mud. I'm pretty good with words, there's not enough to describe the amount of mud. And we got that finally open, and then we washed those $100 bills in warm water, and then we hung them up in our warehouse by clothespins all across the warehouse. And we had $6,000. And Katie said, just give that to whoever needs it. You know, we got to have some food and some water. The stores washed out, the ones that didn't want, well, we lost our whole grocery store, like all groceries floated down the river with the propane tanks from the gas company across the street floating on top of it, so there's no food. I mean, it was really a thing. It was really a thing. And we handed out money, just to anybody that, but here's the problem, there wasn't nothing to spend it on. You couldn't buy gas, you couldn't buy food, you couldn't buy water, you couldn't buy anything for about a week. So it got real intense, that was my kitchen station at my house for 30-something days. Now I have 7 children. I have a lot of dishes, and I was a Girl Scout, and I'm glad of it, because I did learn how to build a campfire and cook outside, but that was my whole sink right there, my whole kitchen, and then pots on the back, we cooked in them during the day, and then we boiled it enough to wash the kids at night, because they were nasty. We were all nasty. And I remember the day that I decided I was going to wash my hair, it's probably about, I don't know, 7 or 8 days in. Still don't have no water, nothing like that. And I thought, I gotta wash my hair, man, I'm nasty. All we have done is suck mud, dig mud, cut trees, haul brush, and throw stuff away. And we were a nasty bunch. And I only had 4 bottles of water. And I thought, okay, I can't wash my hair. Because I need to wash my body too. And I've got all these kids that need something to drink. And all I could think about was, here I am in America, pretty decent, you know, I mean, I was functional, financially functional, and I was having to take 4 bottles of water and decide if I was going to drink it, wash with it, give it to the kids, or do something to this mop on my head that was so nasty from the days. Because it was also the dead of summer, you know, or, you know, it was hot. September, October, thank God it wasn't 0 degrees during this time. So I have not washed my hair that day. Because by that time, one of the boys walked in and I was thirsty. Well, of course you're going to do that, but that's really where it came. And you know, in the mountains, when you run out of water, you don't really worry about that. You just go to the creek and get you some water, right? Or you just go to the spring and get you some fresh spring water. Do that. You don't do that right now. 150-something days later, because the water is tough. Because of everything that was in it. It was toxic. It is toxic. We didn't have any wildlife left. There's no fish in the water. The birds went away. Like everything went away. And you noticed how dead silent everything was. And how dark everything was. Okay, don't be easy now. It was really something. This right here, that's the main highway. That's the main highway, 19W going from Burnsville, Tennessee. That is the main highway right there. I'm going to tell you, it don't look much different than that now. Except for the loggers that live up there that have come and pushed. You know where, y'all probably saw on the news where that group of West Virginia coal miners came in and built those roads in Back Cave? They came on to Burnsville too, and they just pushed and pushed and pushed till we could get by. Our main mode of transportation was either a four-wheeler or a lawnmower or a motorcycle or, you know, a side-by-side, because your vehicles were smashed. But whatever had gas in it. There was a truck that came, you gonna come too? There was a truck that came through this town with a trailer on the back of it that was full of gas cans with gas in them. Thank God for that, because we didn't have any gas. For 3 weeks, we didn't have any gas in 3 towns. And from this town came a trailer full of vehicle gas and chainsaw gas, already mixed. Like 50 gas jugs full of it. So if any of y'all were involved in that, thank you. Because that's what got us where we needed to be. That's my daughter's bridge right there. That's Kylie's bridge. This right here is her bridge. This wooden, or this metal pole, this metal beam going across. 156 days later, that's still her bridge. So, do not do that. You might have to evacuate them. Y'all want to go outside? Go to the playground. Go to the playground. Go with Miss Kim. Sorry. That's how she gets back and forth to her house. Okay, run along. Run along. Sorry. Click to that next picture there, will you? Can you see that beam just floated? That floated down from a building that collapsed. That floated down. Oh, thank you.
I got this.
And they took a loader and kind of flattened it out a little bit and ran it through the creek so that they can get back. For there's 5 homes on the other side of that. That White House is not hers. She lives on up on the hill. But there's 5 families that cross that. Well, the reason I don't have a bridge is because they've had 5 different people quote repairing it, and the cheapest quote they found so far is $250,000 because of the spans of the river. Well, now who can pay that? And again, the insurance doesn't cover that, FEMA doesn't cover that, nothing covers that. Nothing covers that. So like, we're still trying to figure out how to get a bridge, but so's everybody else. And so now there's been regulations, and I'm not here to be political at any level, I want to clarify that. But now there's been regulations passed that permits have eased up a little bit, permits have eased a little bit, so you can go in there and kind of build your bridge, but not one that big. You know, you can build a footbridge or a walking bridge. Most people still park on the side of the road, but then the dump trucks take them out. You know, because there's dump trucks, hundreds of dump trucks every single day. People get hit and killed by the dump trucks. Last week there was a wreck with a dump truck and it took out 3 of our brand new light poles, caused us to be without power again another like 19 hours because the dump truck hit the light pole head on. I mean, it's just a disaster because our roads are not strong enough to hold it. And mountain roads are different than flatland roads. Mountain roads, when you have a little washout, you have like a 100-foot drop below it into the creek or into the river or down the side of the mountain. I mean, in the flatland, you just have a mud pit, right? Okay, ours just goes away. That's the bridge right there. So you see how it lays in the water? That was a low water day. But 2 inches of rain will come up over that. And when it's 0 degrees, that also freezes. I mean, it's just a whole thing. Like, it's just a whole thing just trying to function. So you carry groceries across that, you carry laundry across that, because everybody has to go to the laundromat. Now, she don't even live in her house. She's in a camper. But you have to go to the laundromat because of that. That's why we always ask them for laundry detergent. Because you have to pay to use the laundromat. It's just this round circle, like I feel like we're a hamster on a wheel. That's the neighbor's house beside Miss Katie's today. I took that picture this week. That river runs right in front of it. Again, it's a creek. It's not even a big river. But it jumped the bank 30-something feet high. And that's what everybody's house looks like right there. The house may be standing, but that's the inside of it, or that's the front of it that touches the facing the river. Because there's nowhere to put it. Because the landfills are gone. So they've contracted with all these debris companies, but there's nowhere to take it. They've been hauling our waste to Charlotte. But now they've told us we can't bring any more. So we just kind of there with it. Well, here's my concern. Like, pretty soon it's going to be warm, and that stuff's going to be full of snakes. Not afraid of snakes. I mean, there's a lot. That's a lot. And when that's what you see everywhere you go, all day long, your eyes literally cannot feast on so much of that. Until finally your heart is just busted. I mean, you're just so sad. You're just so sad. And I don't know what they call it. I'm sure there's some big psychological, real life name for it, but it is a broken heart. Because yes, that is stuff and things, but when you don't have nowhere to lay down, it has a different hit to it, That's the camper that was brought to Katie. That's a 17-foot camper. So over 600 people are now living in campers, over 600 homes. So like in my house, that'd make 9. Over 600 homes are now living in a camper between 17 and 20 feet because that's what's either being donated or able to be bought. And so you just think about when you go home today, every single thing in your home, lose that, right down to your underwear. I mean, sometimes you just have to be real, right down to your underwear. And you don't even have enough wherewithal to think about what do you need? Well, I don't know. I just need some clean clothes right now. So you thank God for people that send sweatshirts from gutter companies from down the state. You just go get you some, put them on, and you start over. Every single day, it's like that. But after about 30 or 40 days, like real life has to start back. Like you have to go back to work. If your company made it, or if your work, so say you got to figure out because you have to make a living. Because you got a mortgage due on a house that you can't even look at anymore because it's not there. There's a lot of that. That's Katie's bedroom at her house. That's the 3rd floor. That's the 3rd floor of her house. You can see the ceiling go away in that house. And that house is not considered a total loss. Even though every single thing in it's gone, even though it had 34 feet of water from the ground in her house. Now that is a lot of water in your house. That's her bedroom. That's what she got left. And the county has come back and said, you can rebuild this. You can rebuild this. You just have to replace all the electrical below the water line. Well, that's the roof. That's the water line. But the roof didn't leak one drop. Now, if a tree had fallen on it, you're covered with your homeowner's insurance. But because it didn't, and it was just water, there you are. And so here's the other side of that, that's the living room. Here's the other side. I have many friends, many friends, that have homes $600,000-$700,000. Total loss, gone, not there, not even a fireplace. And I just want to tell y'all this, again, not being political, you just need to know the facts in case it ever happens to you. Your maximum FEMA payment is $42,500. If you're very, very, very blessed, $42,500, that's it. Most people don't get that. Most people get $750 and then $2,100. And then I'm sorry to respectfully deny your request letter. And you can appeal it and appeal it and appeal it and appeal it, and that's what you get. That is a tough place to be. Because you have to decide, okay, yes, we have grit about us, yes, we're resilient, yes, because you have to live. I mean, you have to live, so you have to keep going. But you can lose hope real quick. Because everywhere you're turning is a no when it comes to finances. Everywhere you turn is a no. And then you want to, well, can I burn this house down? And the answer is no to that, because we're in the burn bans because of all the bazillion trees down. Well, can I take it down with a bulldozer? Yes, you can. But you have to pay for that. You have to pay for that. And you have to leave it there because there's nowhere to take it to. And you can't get caught disposing of it because then you get fined because of that. So, yes, you can take it down with a bulldozer, but then it just has to lay there in a neat pile. So people have begun neatly organizing their piles. They begin competitively arranging their piles. But what else are you supposed to do? And you go to work, if you can, and then you come home to your little camper, and you keep all your clothes in those little Tupperware tubs that you buy at the store for $5.98. Okay, that's where you keep all your clothes. You keep those under the campers because there's not room in the campers. Keep them under the campers so that each kid or each adult has their own bucket of clothes. And then you go out in the morning and you get dressed, and then you got to haul that stuff to the laundromat and deal with that. And then you come home and you cook supper and you just try to function, and then you get up and go again the next day and you get, no, that's Katie's front yard. I mean, you just get to this point where you're like, whoa, it becomes a lot. That's my little sweet daddy inside of a house working on a stove. He was trying to burn a fire in a stove just to see if it would still work because everything in the house went bad but the stove. So he was burning a fire in there. He dug the mud. That whole stove was completely full of mud, and he took his little hands and dug all the mud out and then built a fire in there just to try to warm up the inside of the chimney a little bit because it was so musty in there and so cold that we couldn't work, we couldn't do anything. That's the neighbor's truck. A million vehicles like that. Insurance. If they can collect your car, then they will cover your car. But if they had a landslide between, like if your beautiful home is up here and your cars are up here because that's where you live, if you drove up the driveway the night before the flood and you parked like you normally would, but then a landslide came and it took your yard, it took your bank, it took everything you had in front, and your cars are still over there, then they won't cover it. You can't get your car out, can't drive it, can't do anything with it, but it's not, you gotta go buy you another car because you can't even get back to your house because it's $1 million to build some kind of roadway or something because you've had a 100-foot landslide in your front yard. I mean, I tell you story after story after story after story after story after story after story like that, and you just think, is that even real? Well, yes, it is real. Everybody in the mountains, their car is just beat, slammed to pieces. They are literally duct taped together. They are duct taped together. People's front windows have got plexiglass that they've cut in their garage and it's square and they've got duct tape around the hood. And y'all, I don't want to paint a picture that we're a poor, helpless bunch that can't function, but I'm telling you, this is how we're having to function right now. Because it's really unbelievable. It's just unbelievable what's really happening, you know? This family, the whole family washed down the river. The whole family. They have recovered the 2 adults. They have not recovered the children, still today. You know what I think as a mom? I wouldn't want to be recovered if you couldn't recover my children. Just leave me alone, just let that, you know? That's a lot. And those are our next door neighbors. This is Miss Katie. She made it. She wasn't in her house the night of the flood. She left at 9:30 because she saw the water coming. So she left, but she had no idea. She thought she might have some damage to the yard. She didn't realize she was going to lose everything she had. Everything she had. That whole family washed down the river except that little blonde boy in the front. And they found him in a tree. Alive. He made it. Nobody else. That's the main highway. That's Highway 19. They've come into the river and they have dug and they have dug and they have dug. And they've put rocks up the side. And then they have put boulders in there. And now it's a dirt road. And it's a road, but it's a dirt road. And that's like our school buses drive on that road. That's a main road for school. We have had one full week of school from 7:30 in the morning to 2:30 in the afternoon, 1 week of full school since September 24th, because our roads are so bad. And because, like, our kids went back to school at the end of November on a 3-hour delay, and every day, 3-hour delay, but they were still having to go to the bathroom in trailers outside because we lost our water plant. So they had to bring in those big trailers with bathrooms and stuff, and that's how our little babies went to school till Christmas. That's the neighbor's yard. See that driveway coming down? That was a lovely road. That was a lovely road to a lovely, lovely home. I just took that picture on my phone going down the road. Trees and then a fire. That was the weather forecast. The mountains right there is where we are, 5 to 12 inches max. And we all kind of laughed about 12 inches, like that's not even coming. We knew that was coming, and we knew it was going to rain. They canceled the football game on Friday night. They canceled the parade we was going to have in town that Saturday. That was it. They missed that. I mean, they missed that forecast. Bad. And bad missed that forecast. This was on Wednesday, before the flood hit on Friday. That's just somebody's Facebook post there in our town. Because that's what's happened all over the roads. 2 days before the flood ever hit. So that's what got us in such a mess, is we were already out before this thing even really, before Helene even really hit. That is what happened. That family right there, that's the Ayers family, and that's Elena Ayers, and she has not been found yet. They found her husband. That's my daughter's next door neighbors. They found her husband 9 miles up the road and identified him by the jawbone. And they have yet to find her. They have 4 children. They had spent the night with their grandparents. They had spent the night with their grandparents on Wednesday night after church. They had gone home with their grandparents. So sometime between Thursday and Friday is when they washed out the river. They've still not found her. If you've been to Burnsville, if you've been on these trips, as you're coming into town, there's a green, it was a tire shop, and it was kind of on the creek right as you come in. If you ever come back, you'll notice it because it's there. Over half of it's gone, but that's her brother's place. And so he lost his home, he lost his business, he lost his sister. And he still looks for her every day. He goes out every single day, and there's a note, a real battered note on the front door of that tire shop that says, "I'm looking for my sister." That's all it says. "I'm not here looking for my sister." That's what he does every day. She's in her young 30s. Very sweet girl. Very sweet girl. That's my house. That's my house. Every house in West North Carolina, that is a good house. I have a good house. And I'm still living on concrete, still. My whole area is still concrete. Ripped the roof off the house, and we got that dealt with so we're not wet. And we're warm, but still concrete on the inside because, again, insurance doesn't cover that. That's the neighbor. That's the neighbor up the street there. House, vehicle, that's pretty much what most everybody's been left with. So this is my little shop, and this is probably your people there unloading things out of the trailers, the dishes, the stuff to repair or to replace kitchens and homes with. So people that got these campers, that's a real blessing because you didn't have anything in the campers. So they've been able to come and pick up boxes and pots and pans and just start over. And your crowd, that right there came from your church right there. That lady that you see, that's her, she comes every week and she goes and delivers. She takes that white Jeep, this is her Jeep right here. And she takes that Jeep and she delivers all over Mitchell and Yancey County to folks that she knows need things. Because mountain people, they're also proud and they're not going to ask for nothing. You know, people come and they try to help and they say, well, I mean, thank you so much, but my neighbor needs it worse. Please take this, please take it here instead. Please take it to somebody that really needs help. That woman does that. She takes it all over. This is my daughter Kylie here. Every single thing she's wearing, every single thing she's got on her body came out of a box from this church, out of the back of the trailer. Everything, everything. Most everybody in Mountains dresses like that. I'm telling you, I sold the fire out of them gutters because I wore them sweatshirts to me. I was like, who is that company? I'm like, oh no, I got it out of the box. There's your people here. I'll tell you what, when we see that trailer and that black truck roll in, it's a very humbling thing, but it is a great blessing because there's a lot of people standing there that need it, and they need it desperately. That's our little shop. Our Amish buggy, I got that in Pennsylvania, I sell Amish furniture. I got that buggy in Pennsylvania from an Amish family. And that buggy became the laundry drop-off because there were some people in Burnsville that had water before those of us did in Spruce Pine. And we would all bring our laundry, my family, we would bring our laundry, and it was bad laundry. And we would put it in that wagon and leave it. And some girls from Burnsville would come and they'd pick it up, take it home, wash it, and they'd fold it and bring it back, and it would stack it back in that wagon. And I'll tell you, you just don't forget stuff like that. When you have perfect strangers washing your clothes, that's pretty personal. And you have perfect strangers putting gas in your car, that's pretty personal. And when you have perfect strangers giving you money that you have to take, because you don't have any money, you lost it all, and you got to feed your kids or you got to do something with it. That's pretty personal, but you got to do it. You know, you got to do it. It's been a very humbling thing. Is that all of them?
Except for the videos.
Oh, there's a video? I'm going to show you this one little video. This is at my house the morning of the storm. That's my little barn down there. I don't live anywhere near the water, nowhere near the water. We lost that pretty tree there. That said that half the top of it's out, but it went on down. My barn lost the roof on that, a bunch of trees went through that. So we've had to rebuild that. Most of those trees that you see there are gone. Almost all of them have finally come on down. We see things we've never seen before. We see houses we've never seen before, plants we've never seen before. We see places we've never seen before, and I've lived in mountains my whole life. But everything's gone. It just looks totally different. Everything's totally different. I think it'll ever be repaired in our lifetime. This is what I want to tell you. If you have a friend up there, if you know anybody in Western North Carolina, not just us for Burnsville, if you know anybody, I just encourage you, I beg you, to be the very best friend of them that you can be. That does not mean you have to send them money. It does not mean you have to send them anything. It means just call them up, say, I just want to say hi. Hope you're doing well. Our house is intact, and we have a shower that has hot water. You can park in the driveway, walk in the house, use the bathroom, and take a shower, all in the same spot. And we got the power to probably stay on the night. Then you're welcome to come spend the night with us. Like, you know how much that bless the people from the mountain? If you have the ability to help in any possible way, just know that it is appreciated more than you will ever imagine. It is appreciated, and it is really needed. I mean, I feel like we're about crazy. I feel like a crazy person. I can talk myself off the cliff all day, every day, because I can think, but so much mud out, I cannot teach every day. It's just like every single day. And you know, people around me, like my biggest prayer through this whole thing is, Lord, please do not let these people give up hope. Please do not let them give up hope. And I will say this, through it all, through every bit of it, though, as tough as it has been, and it has been awful, there have been some dark nights. There have been some dark nights. But God has been faithful. And He has been good. And He will continue to do that. And I know that. I know that. But you know what? People that don't have the Lord, they don't know that. And they're panicked. And they're mad. There's an angry bunch. And there's a panicked bunch. But there is a hopeful bunch. And the hope, I'm telling you, it comes from Jesus. But it also comes from places like your church, who just randomly show up in a black truck, a big trailer. It comes from places like this, where I can just randomly call and say, our family really needs a generator. And in 3 days, they show up with 10 generators. It comes from places where you call and say, all right, we don't have, people need to be able to cook. We've got to figure out how to cook meals. And all of a sudden, here rolls in somebody from, is the Habitat person at this church? Whoever works at the Habitat? Rolls in with dishes, nice, really nice things. Dishes and pots and pans and cookware and spatulas. I mean, you gotta think about the details. I would say this, the word everything, the word losing everything, like that really does mean everything. That really does mean everything. And that is tough. And so, all this water that's been sent in up there, you remember how much water we've had in our parking lot? You know how many bottles we have in our parking lot now? Because people still come and get it constantly. Like we still make coffee with water because the water's bad. You know, when you take a bath, sometimes you get these weird rashes because it comes out the water. Your hair falls out, your clothes change color. Now, I'm just being factual here. My husband lost his office in Asheville. He's a propane man, and he lost 35 trucks, 450 gas tanks, lost the roof, and lost the whole building there on the river. They're on River Road in Asheville. And that's an hour from us. We didn't even know he lost his office about 3 days till he finally was able to get there. It was gone. But about a week after that, they came, the city came, and they took the roof off because the building, they were still looking for bodies at that time. That was hard. That was a hard time to run into search and rescue every time you turn around. That was hard. Everywhere you turn, they were there. And they took the roof and lifted it with a big crane thing, and they found 7 people that had been there for a week at his office. It wasn't his employees, it was folks that had washed from their homes. And his partner was with him, his work buddy, and he just had a heart attack, died. Just right there, just had a heart attack, died. That's how real it is. Like, we have seen things that people should not see. I have a million things on my telephone that I finally got recovered after 3 days that I would just never show anybody because it's just too personal. You know, it's too much. Like that's our home. But when you see that kind of stuff, you don't forget that. You don't forget it. You don't forget how bad that was. But you also don't forget how good God was and how good He is through it. And like, I know we're going to be okay somehow, some way, and if we ain't here, we will be in heaven. It'll be all right. We're going to make it. But it may take heaven before we make it. But y'all have brought hope. You have brought hope. And you have brought love. And you have been the hands and feet of Jesus. And if you've come there, you've brought it. If you've come here and you've supported any ministry that your church has done, you've brought it. And that's the most important role of church. Yes, it's for worship. Yes, it's to work together. Yes, it's for things, but it's to serve. It's to serve. And when I hear all these mission things y'all have going on, I just love that. I just love that. I just have to say, keep on serving. Keep on telling people about Jesus. Keep on working together. Keep on digging in there because that's our purpose here. That's our purpose on this earth, is to make other people's lives better and to give them some hope. And y'all have done that. I do want to say this one thing. This board just about it came to speak. That's my home. And when I see that, I just love that. But I want to show you this. I couldn't see it from where I was at. Oh, this is great. This isn't my store. How sweet is that? This church right here, they're getting ready to take it down this week by a bulldozer. And that's really sad. That's a church right on the side of the road. How you all go through the back of it, and the river came through the side, but it's still standing. But they are getting ready to take that down. That's in Michaelville. This building right here, they've been cutting. And they brought some kind of torch, and they cut the front off, and then they cut the neck. That was the water tower for the town of Michaelville. Yes. And they've begun cutting that out now. And now it's over in the parking lot of the plant. It was a 300,000 square foot plant that just washed totally out. There's no walls left, and all the roof fell in, but it's still standing there. The people that own that plant are going to have to pay to take it down, even though they've lost no insurance. The post office was lost. It was privately owned there. 2 center blocks left. No insurance. Total washout. Total loss. So, it's really tough. It's really tough in the mountains. It's really tough. But thank you so much. Thank you. This is the first place I've ever been to speak that I asked to come to. And just to say we appreciate you more than you'll know. And you are sowing into children. You are sowing into families. You are sowing into people that, because you're sending hope there and you're giving them what they need to function, they're literally able to keep functioning. I'm telling you straight up, I'm a tough cat, and I am. If I hadn't got me some power in my house every about 32nd day, I was coming out of myself. Like, you cannot live like that but so long with a bunch of kids till you just about lose your mind. Now, I mean, really. And then it comes back on and you're so happy, but it goes off constantly. So you have to, my generator, let me tell you something, it sits right on my porch. My lovely dining room that I once had, which is now concrete, has got extension cords running all the way through it. We keep them running all the time because we have to plug that thing up that came right out of here. We have to plug that generator up at least twice a week still. Because the power flickers so much, it'll go off 4 or 5 hours at a time. Or a truck will hit it, or a tree will fall, there'll be a fire, there'll be some crazy something going on. So, that's a big deal for me. When I plug that thing in, I say, thank you, Lord, for that sweet church. And for the people that come up there and take care of us. But it ain't just me, y'all, it's hundreds of people that your church has poured into. Hundreds of people. I mean, you have kept children warm. We've just been through 0-degree weather for almost a month. You have kept us warm. You have kept us fed. You have kept us clothed. You have kept us in water bottles and notepads. You have kept us in fun things for the children to do. You have kept us. You have kept us. That's the word. And that's really like what our role is here, is to be keepers. So thanks. That's all I have to say. So thank you from my soul. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Claudia, and I want to share something with you. I retired from the Person County Sheriff's Department here on February 1st. But 2 or 3 years ago, and I think it's more the Sheriff's Department, that's where I work, so that's what I know about. We received Bibles from a church, and I consider that a blessing, a nice blessing. That church was Concord Baptist Church of Burnsville, North Carolina. And so Burnsville was blessed in Person County before we had a chance to bless y'all, and I thank you for that. And it was called 10-8 Ministries. If you don't know your team codes, I ain't here to try to explain it, but I know they were sent out a lot more places than Person County Sheriff's Department. I imagine probably Roxborough Police Department, Fire Department, probably all got them. And I did pick that Bible up in my office several times and read it. It had pictures of officers in it that had passed away. And I have it at home now. When I packed up my office when I retired, I took it with me. So thanks to the people of Burnsville also. Now we're going to have our song response.
This is my
Spirit be with all of you. Amen.